Hello to all my listening friends. This is Miss T. First, I want to say I want to give a shout out to all my beautiful sisters. No matter what color you are, no matter what size you are, no matter how tall or how short you are beautiful, and don't let anyone else tell you that you're not. Today we're going to talk about men and women's relationships and where I feel that the breakdown started. This is just my opinion. You don't have to agree with it, but it's just what I'm thinking. And if you have any, other suggestions or any other topics, just write them down in the comments, and I will look at those. But I think what starts everything is that men look at women as beneath them, because that's how it's shown in the Bible. So when we hear the Bible, all we hear is the women who did bad things, and that was pushed out. That was the narrative that was pushed out. And I used to think, so there's no women in the Bible that done anything good? And there are plenty, but they only focus on these women because it seems like they want to say it's because of women that our world is all messed up. So if Eve hadn't have given her husband fruit, we would still be in the Garden of Eden. But I pose this to you: if God made Adam, he breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and then he put him to sleep and took a rib from him and made Eve to be his helpmate. So that to me means that Adam would be in control of Eve, and she would just, do whatever he needed for her to do. So my question is, where was Adam when Eve was being enticed by the serpent? They had a lengthy conversation. So Adam should have not been away from his wife that long. And maybe had he not, or had he been with her, none of that would have happened. So you can kind of push it on both sides. But I know that they throw that out, like, Eve is the cause of it. They also throw out Delilah got Samson to cut his hair, and he lost all his power. Lot's wife disobeyed God and him, and she looked back and turned into a pillar of salt. Like I said, there are many other women in the Bible who have done great things, but they're only going to focus on that. And if you do want to know about all the good women in the Bible, just pick up the Bible. There's a lot of women. Some women even helped bring down other, countries, and you're not being told about that. But I'll just leave that right there. So after I'm not going to say after. So we have been through, the slave days, and then we got freed, and then we weren't really given any rights still, but what the household looked like was the wife was like, I don't want to call her a servant, but she was there to take care of her husband and the home. So staying home and taking care of the children and the house while her husband worked. He when he got home from work, he was expected. He expected his home to be, ready for him. So when he gets home, the kids have already eaten and they're calmed down, or they're in the bed. The house is done, laundry's done, it's smelling all good in there. She has his dinner for him, and yes, he does get the big piece of chicken and whatever else he wants. So that's how we were in that era. That's how girls were raised to be to their husbands. You made sure home was together first, and that's how it went. Later on, things started coming, into play, and what was happening was men they would cheat, and they would have families over on a whole other side of the city, or they might even have them right there on their own street. That was not uncommon for the dad to have families somewhere else, but it wasn't talked about. It wasn't, there was whispers, and but it wasn't something that to boast about. So they weren't putting it out in the streets, even though people knew it. And the mother was still, maintaining her role in the house, and the father was still, doing what he had to do financially. I don't know how the wives dealt with that, but that's how they did it. But that was a different time and era. So the mother, usually her solace was her church, because no matter what is going on, your faith can bring you through. She might have had some girlfriends too. They might have talked about him behind his back, but he was still given respect. So things were going on, and people were continuing their lives. And then in April of 1965, our president then decided to send American soldiers to fight in the Vietnam War. I can't speak upon the Vietnam War because I don't know what the war was about. I don't know why we were there, but they defeated us in 1973, and we were sent home. And there was a lot of lives lost, and I still don't know what the why they were fighting. So that was that. But while the soldiers were there, they were in a country where drugs were made all over. They had their poppy fields, or whatever you want to call them, and they made drugs over there. So they were giving those to the soldiers. And if I heard about what Vietnam, my stepdad talked about it. They had to come home with the images that they seen, or what they were told to do, and the only escape for them was alcohol or drugs. Instead of, they say we're here for the veterans, but are you really? Because these people are traumatized, and they have these flashbacks of what they were doing, what they had to do, and the only way they believe it to get those to go away is to take some kind of substance so they don't have to remember. But they will have to keep doing that, because once you're down, you're gonna remember, and then you're gonna want to be high again. So that's a vicious cycle. But in the meantime, it changed a little bit of the dynamic of the family, because the mother, if she did not get introduced to drugs, she was the breadwinner, and she took care of the home. So how women, in their minds, if I'm doing everything, why are you here? And all you're doing is adding more trouble, because you're on drugs, and I can't, I need money for groceries, and I need money for bills, and I can't wonder if you're stealing from the house. So it put a wedge and turned that was a big wedge. I think men started to feel like the woman was putting him down. They felt less of a man, and so they were angry, and they were being stripped of their dignity. Now, if the government wanted to help people get, on their feet, find new jobs, they would take the whole family, the father and the mother, get them training, schooling, on-the-job training, whatever, to get them all working. But it seemed like they were just interested in the mothers. And I don't know if that was, you can tell me if that was one of the agendas to kind of split us up. I'm not sure. In the meantime, when they were helping women try to get on their feet and get them daycare assistance and food assistance. They were building prisons. I don't know if they foreseen that there was going to be a lot of men going to prison, but they were building prisons. There was a lot of groups that were trying to help, like they had now I'm not gonna the Black Panthers, who actually started breakfast for the kids when they were going to school, because everybody likes to listen to what they're saying the Black Panthers were, and they were trying to help their community. So yes, they fed the children before they went to school. They would walk the children to school to make sure they were safe. They would bring the children back and help them with their homework and do all those kinds of things. But of course, that was wiped out, just like every other good thing that we're trying to do in our community. So now that they feel like, we've taken down just about every one of their leaders, I don't think anybody is going to step up. And I don't I don't think one person should. I think it should be a task for everyone. One person shouldn't take on that burden of trying to save, the world for black people. That's too much on their shoulder. They're a target, and we all need to, have our hands in some form of trying to, get our community back the way it was. So, years are going by again, and things are this era here. Black women started we're being passed over for white women or other races. So they would say, we're no good for you, and so you pass us over and, go to the others. And then they felt some kind of way, like you were putting the black woman down, like she's not good enough, and they are. So that kind of started, well, I'm not going to say started, we were already, in a rut. We didn't agree with most of nothing, and we were just living, I guess. So I think the fathers were, when they were told they had to pay child support for their child, they were thinking that it was the mother who had to request this. And actually, no. If they were getting assistance, that was mandatory, that, they put the father on child support. The child support is actually paying them back. It's not going to the woman. And for her to be able to continue to get the funds, she would have to, comply with them. And so men were upset because their child support was being taken, and they felt like, I can just, give you money and we don't have to go through this. Well, like I said, they had no choice. They either, give the information or get kicked off the program. So I don't know, and that's not everybody. I'm sure there were some women who didn't put child support on the fathers, and maybe they got kicked off, who knows, but maybe they worked out something better, and that's fine. So that's another thing added. Men are, she's put child support on me. I told her all we had to do was, and it just, even though it wasn't her ideal, just the fact that I have to pay child support to her, and how do I know that she's using it for the child? That's a big, is she using it for the child? And they get upset about that. I don't want to be paying for hair and nails and clothes and whatever. But you kind of got to look at it this way. I can't take either side. I understand both sides. But if your child's mother has the bills paid, and she's got food, plenty of food in the house, and she's paying for football camp or or whatever. As long as she's taking care of them, I don't see what would be the problem if she used that money to do a little something for herself. Now, if she was just taking all the money, she was taking the money and going on trips, and the kids didn't have food, they were calling you for food, yeah, I could see that. But if you have a good mother, and you feel your kids are safe and they're being well taken care of, it shouldn't matter out of which pot that it's coming from, just as long as your kids are being taken care of. So one thing that I think has caused a lot of the issues is social media. They show different things. The wife, the girlfriend had another man. It's just filling your head with negative information about a few people. And so when you look at that, you're like, you can't, you're putting everyone together. Everyone does not go together. These are just certain people who this happened to. But when you see it, and you see you're seeing the black man being humiliated on TikTok or whatever it is, it hits you, and you just like, women aren't, and we just can't put all women together, because some women are doing their thing and taking care of their kids. So you can't put them all together, but it seems like that's what they're doing. So I have a problem with the B word. I was told, if it doesn't pertain to you, don't worry about it. But I'm like, the B word has almost come like a household, like a name. That's your nickname. I don't understand. I was told, well, women call each other that. Yeah, I see that. I can't tell if that's their friendship and they call each other that and laughing, that's them. That's them. I don't do it. Never have. But I don't really think a man has the right to determine who is, why are they bees? What do you, if you don't know the woman and she's coming into the club and she has on a tight dress and it's low cut, and what gives you the right to give her a name? Because maybe that's how she likes to dress. You guys, women, I would like to say that sometimes when we come in the club, we have on, if you're wearing a dental floss and a pasties, what would you expect the men to think about you? It might not be true, but what would you expect them to think about you? You're in here naked. You're letting everybody see. You don't have a problem with letting everybody see. He's going to probably think that either you're a prostitute or you just advertise for whatever reason. And so they come up with these names according to how women act, and I can understand that. So if you don't want to be labeled or put in that category, you have to act accordingly. There are plenty of outfits or whatever that you can wear that cover you up, but you're still, sexy. It's just not showing everything. You need to leave some things to the imagination. So we're going back to the names. So, the rappers think it's fun to call the thoughts and whores and baby mama and ratchet and slut and, all those names that men use in their songs. And they come out with a new one. I don't know what the new ones are, but they come out in their songs and people just blast it. And so I think that right now it's just a back and forth. So in this era, in this new era right here, the women, like how especially if you were the daughter of the mother whose husband was cheating and had a family somewhere around in the city, what are you going to say? That ain't never going to happen to me. I'm not never going to let a man. So you're getting that already put in your head. Like, all men do that. You're going to make sure it doesn't happen to you, or you're going to do it to him before he does it to you. So that's already in your head. So women just in this era is not about, I think we have lost lost what love is. I don't know if people are traumatized from certain things, or they're just tired, of dealing with things. So I think women are like, it's our turn. I mean, some women. So when you see the rappers, the women rappers, and they're talking, singing, rapping about the things they do, I think it's called that they in their mind, they're taking control of their own life. Like, if you're going to call me, say I'm this and say I'm that, I'm going to say I'm this and say I'm that, so you can take that away from me. I have already said it. I'm this and I'm that. So you've been doing it for years and nobody's calling you any names, but I'm going to get out here and make my money, and that's what sells. I'm sorry, but society wants to see women gyrate and talk about things are brown and pink and the groceries and all that stuff, and people just love it. We have gone so far away from our morals and I don't know how we're going to come back from that, but this is not how it was supposed to be. We're not supposed to be divided into certain because I'm not going to say it's the men against the women, because there's some great men out there, there's some great women out there, And if you want to look for one, I'm sure you can find one, but you're not going to see on social media how this nice man met this nice woman and they're in the park holding hands and he's giving her flowers. That's not entertaining. So they're not going to care about that. They want to see the ratchet, raunchy visuals. Women have gotten into what is it called? Only page, which is making them a lot of money. And how can they turn that down? You know, they're young. They want to live their best life. And I would like to say, I don't know where they get that from, because this is not your best life. Not at all. If you don't make it to heaven, heaven is your best life. If you don't make it there, you're not going to have any life. So I just want to put that out. I just want to get to a point where we're going backwards, where we're showing our sisters, our aunts, because you wouldn't let nobody come to your mother and call her any of those names that the rappers say in their songs. That wouldn't happen. Well, these other women are mothers, they're sisters, they have grandmothers, they're also somebody's baby. And so we should treat them with respect. We need to go back. We need to go backwards. And I'm not saying everything that was happening, but we need to have respect. We need to bring back respect. That's where we need to start, is with respect. You need to respect yourself, respect other people around you. You don't know what is going on in someone's life. We can't judge someone that we don't know, because first of all, God does the judging, because we are all sinners and fall short. And I don't think some of the people that are doing, I don't think a child or a mother who's looking at her child is saying, my daughter's going to grow up to be a stripper, or my son's going to grow up to be smoke crack. We have high hopes for all of our children. Something went wrong, in between. And if we don't get that taken care of, it's just going to go on and on. Some people can handle trauma. They can, pick themselves up and go on and be a productive citizen. Other people, the trauma is so deep that they don't know how to release it. So I'm just saying that if we want to try and come together, women, men, we have to make an effort to change our ways. We can't continue on the things that we're doing. All right, it just sounds like our morals and our values are gone. And we don't we don't know how to get them back. I mean, there's so much different things going on. People, when was it good for a man, a strange man, to hit a woman who's standing in line getting her food? When was that acceptable? I didn't know it was acceptable. When was it acceptable that somebody punched a 73-year-old man in his face several times? I don't know when those things became acceptable. We have been brainwashed, systematically brainwashed, and I keep saying that because everything that we encounter did not come from us. You can go ahead and look up things or do your own investigations and do your own, see what you can find. But if someone is trying to keep a certain group apart, what would be the tactics that they would do that? They would cause controversy. They would cause people to not respect each other. They would, all these things. So we're never going to be unified again if we don't stop what we're doing and think of something better to show the children, to show, because they're impressionable and they learn. If you tell a child, I'm going to teach you how to play the piano, they're going to play the piano. If you tell them, I'm going to teach you how to do, they're vulnerable for, anything. I don't know if it's too late for some of us with, we've been grown up and we're doing these things, but the children we can turn it around so that in the next generation, people aren't bringing people down or making them feel like they're nothing, or we don't understand the power that we have. I don't know if we don't care, but we don't understand the power that we have, and the greater power. If we were together, we could shut down a lot of things. I sometimes look at some fashion, and it's always us, that want to be the first to get these things. And I was looking at I don't know what they're called, but they look like Mario boots, and I guess that might be what they're called. And they look ridiculous, and people are paying a lot of money to wear these. So I want to know why. Did someone say they were nice, or because the price tag, or I don't know. But I still have hope for my brothers and sisters. I don't like to see, us against each other. I really don't. And we need to make a difference. We need to turn it around. We need to call a truce. We need to call a truce. I don't have any issue with you, and you don't have any issue with me. We can all come to the conclusion that we didn't mean for this to come this way, but it did. And if you would like to make a change, I'm hoping that any information you get from here, that you can pass it on, or think of stuff in your community that you can do with the kids, or think of stuff, just anything, because we've been sitting here talking about these situations for a long time, and it's time it's time to do something, because we can be talking forever and nothing's going to get done. So I'm hoping that you take these uploads and you get motivated and try to find out what's going on in your community, how you can help, and make it possible for these kids to know that this is not what they see, is not all they have to go with. They don't have to be a rapper. They can be a doctor, a lawyer, anything that they want. She doesn't have to be a dancer or whatever. She can be whatever she wants, and we need to keep instilling those things in our children. But we need to heal ourselves first. So, ladies, what I want you to do, I know that no matter what, there's going to be opposition. People aren't going to want to be included or whatever, and that's fine. But this week, try to reach out to someone. Maybe you haven't talked to them in a long time, or maybe you fell out, and you can just call and say, I've been thinking about you, and or whatever else. It just takes a step to right wrongs, and if nobody's willing to take that first step, it's not going to get done. So I challenge you to do that. And I appreciate everybody who has supported me. I appreciate it so much. You guys don't know how much I do appreciate it. I've met some really beautiful people on here, and I thank you very much. I'm not going to speak on men and men's relationships, because I don't think I have all of the, whatever, but I will say what I do see is that men usually stay friends. There's men have been friends since 4 years old, and they're still friends. I have a friend and we met when I was 4, and we're still friends. But it seems like men don't really fall out unless it's something, major. They usually have their friends for life. And so that's what I'm going to say about that. I hope you enjoyed my upload. Have a great evening, and I will talk to you later.